Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtivada. In this video, we will learn about Angular 19 to-dos list project. So I'll implement end-to-end project in this whole video. It is related to Angular 19 and the project is to-dos list. So how we will do this to-do list in our Angular 19 by using all the latest features. So let me go into another slide where I'll show you what will be covered in this particular video. So here I'll start with how to set up our Angular project, that is Angular 19 project, and also how to add our Angular material into Angular 19 project, and how to design our whole project by using Angular material features. Along with that, how we can use our Angular 19 latest features like signals and two-way data binding, that is nothing but modals. All these types of new features we will be using in our Angular 19 project. And also we will start implementing to-do application with all the CRUD operations. Along with this, I'll show you how to push this code to our GitHub repository. So let me quickly jump into another slide. So here I have opened my terminal, and in this terminal I'll show you whether we have all the required prerequisites for our particular Angular 19. For that, first thing is you have to check your node version. So let me check my node -- version, and if you don't have your node, just go to your node.js org downloads and you can download as per your platform. If your platform is Mac, you can download for Mac, and if it is for Windows, you can download for Windows, and use all the installer steps to install this node. Once the installation is done, it is also recommended to use Visual Studio Code for our application. So I use Visual Studio Code in this complete video. So make sure you download your Visual Studio Code, and also it is up to you how you wanna go with an IDE. So let me go to the terminal, and here inside the terminal I verified our node version, and also in the same way you have to verify your Angular version. So let me check my Angular version, ng -version, and hit enter. It is 19.0.2. So whenever you check your Angular version, if it is not available, it is recommended you to download. How you can download that or install that ng version inside your system? So let me go with npm install -g @angular/cli. So once you hit enter, it will install the latest version of Angular, and after that, if you run ng -- version, you have to see this version number. So that's how you can install your Angular CLI. So I have already installed, so I'm not doing this step. So let me check my Angular version, which is 19.0.2. Now I am ready to create my own project. So let me create my own project. Before doing that, what I'll do is I use mkdir, that is making a directory, and the directory name could be anything like to-do list, or just you can create your own project based on your folder structure. I am at some folder in my system. So let me install the project directly, ng new, and I want to go with to do as my project name, and space -- routing. I want routing, hit enter. Now it will ask you some set of questions which you want to use. I will go with SCSS. And do you want to enable the server-side rendering? It is up to you how you wanna go with server-side rendering or not. In this case, I'm not using server-side rendering. I'm hitting no, and now it is creating the whole boilerplate code along with all the folders required for us. So now our complete project setup is done for our Angular to-do project. So what I'll do is I'll open this project in my Visual Studio Code. So let me go into Visual Studio Code. Here, go to File and click on New Window, and then I can click on Open. Now let me select where it is. It is inside my documents and then YouTube to-dos. So this is my project. Let me open this. So now I have opened my Angular 19 project. So let me close this, which is not required for us. So let me open my terminal, and now I have opened this terminal. Let me zoom a bit, and then let me run this application. How to run this application? It is very simple, ng serve and hit enter. So it takes some time to build our application, and let me go into our localhost 4200. Now my application is running at localhost 4200. So this is our basic application which is created by our boilerplate code. Now what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll show you the structure. It is having a src, which is where we will completely implement our whole Angular code, but I don't want to go with a folder structure. I'll provide the link in the description. You can see my another video where you can know how this folder structure works in Angular project. So now what I'll do is I'll go into app, and as we are using Angular 19, by default every component in our application is completely a standalone project. So let me go into app.component.ts. It is a completely standalone project, and if you see here, you have something like syntax error, imported tslib can't found. So this is already a existing problem, so you can disable this by using tsconfig.json. And here inside the module resolution, go with node and save this. And now go here, you can see all the red script links gone. So let me go here inside our app.component.html, and this is the boilerplate code. Let me remove all the boilerplate code which we don't want. So let me save this. Now what I can do is, I'm not using any of this router outlet now, so that's the reason it is throwing an error in the imports. Let me remove this and save this. Now remove this. Now we are ready with our project, which is running at localhost 4200. Let's target for our Angular material. So how to add a Angular material into our application? So let me go here, quit this, and then I can use a small command called as ng add angular / material. So hit enter. It will do some set of changes in our application, and then it will try to install our Angular material into our application. So here we have Angular material, which I can hit S and hit enter. Now it is installing the packages. Let me show you something in the browser. So let me go here. This is our Angular 19.0.4, which helps you to understand what are the components provided by our material component and how to use it. So let me go into material. Inside this, let me click on get started. You can see ng add @angular / material. What this does is it will add all our details into our Angular application. So it will prompt you some set of questions, but here we got some problem because of the permission issue. Let me use my permissions. Yeah, now I gave the permission. Let me install again. So now it will prompt you some set of questions to select the theme which you want for our Angular material. So now it is installing the packages, and also it will update your files in your whole project. Let's see that what it has updated in our Angular project. So let me use a sudo ng add @angular / material. Just I'm giving the permission for it to install, and now it is asking you for the theme which you want to select. It has provided 4 themes by default. If you want to have a custom theme, you can select it. Now I'm going with Azure Blue, and it is asking whether you want to have an Angular material typography at the global level. As of now, I'm hitting no, and it is asking whether you want to have an animations or not. Yes, I'm hitting yes. Based on this options what you have selected, it will update your files. If you go here, you can see Angular JSON has been updated with our theme, and also it updated the package JSON with Angular CDK and Angular material, and also we have updated this tsconfig. Index.html, it had added some set of fonts, that is font family, as well as the material icons. We can use the icons directly, and whatever the CSS it requires, it has added by default. And also it updated your app config with our animation feature. So that's how this Angular material is added into our application. So how to test this? So let me go here into the components. We can pick any of it, and let's try whether our Angular material is working in our application or not. So let me go with button, because we are very familiar with buttons in normal HTML content. So what I'll do is I'll copy one of this section, and I'll try to use this mat buttons. So let me copy this section, and let me go into HTML and paste this. Now it will expect this mat button. So to use that mat button, what we have to do is we have to import our button module. So let me copy this button module and import in our component. So as we are using a standalone component, we have to import it directly inside our component.ts. So let me copy this and paste here, save this and save this. Now we are good. Let me run ng serve, and now you can go to your localhost 4000, refresh. You can see this particular buttons like disable button, basic button and link button, and that is the example given over here. You can see the first one is something which we are showing. So now we are good to go. What I'll do is I'll remove this and we are able to use our material components. What I'll do is I'll create a h1 tag which indicates Techshareskk to do list project and save this. Now let me go here. Yeah, you are able to see Techshareskk to do list project, and please do not focus on the UI. I'm just creating a sample UI which is bit understandable and easy to access. So what I'll do is I'll pick some of the Angular material components and inject over here. So let me create a div and let me go into Angular material, and inside this what I'll do is I'll just go with a card. So we have something like a card, or else directly we can go with input fields. So let me select form input fields and you will have a lot of examples over here. So let's use this examples. So what I'll do is I'll just go here and I'll choose a nice input field. So that one I can use with input, and we have many varieties of input fields, but I don't want to use this one. I want to use form fields. If I go to the examples of form fields, you have all the different form fields and I want to use this one. But before doing that, let me go here, and it is related to outline form field. So just let me copy this form field and all the dependencies should be added. So let me save this and go into app.ts and just go into the TS. Let me import my icons and form fields. All these modules are required for us. Let me copy this and put it over here. All this should be imported. Copy this and paste, and then mat icon module, paste, and then mat input module, paste, save this. Now we are good with all the material fields and it has been imported all the values in our build. So let me go here into the browser, go here and refresh. Now you are able to see a outline form field. Now what I'll do is I'll add a card for it. So let me copy the card code. So let me go into the card and go into some set of examples. Here we have all the different types of cards and you can pick any of that. So let me go here and pick one of this card, mat card, copy this and just go here. Let me paste here, and I don't want to use any of this. Let me cut this, and this is my main content. So let me use that content, mat card content, and save this. Now I'll use this title for our to-do list project. Cut this and put it over here. So let me remove this. Now we have this card. So let me import that card and button related stuff. Let me go here, and now whatever the imports we require for it, I'll import. One is button and one is card module. So let me go here and let me copy this and put it over here, save this. Now we are good with our card. Let me go here, and now you are able to see a very big card and with the content over here where I don't want to use this subtitle. So let me remove this subtitle and save this. Now I'll make this card a bit small with our own CSS. So what I'll do, I'll just create one div and I'll wrap this card inside the div. I'll write some set of custom CSS for this. So let me go and create a class like container and save this. Let me copy this container, go into my CSS dot container, and inside this container I'll use something like display flex and justify content center. So let me save this. Now it became a very small card. Let me increase the size of the card. So let me go here, increase the size of the card by using a width. So let me use class card layout and save this. Let me copy the card layout and go here, write our CSS. If you want to use Bootstrap for our stylings, you can use that Bootstrap as well. Just install the Bootstrap over here. Now what I'll do is I'll give a width of 500 pixel and save this. Now go here, it has a 500 pixel width. Now all this content should be centered. What I'll do, I'll just use inside this div, we have a card. All this card has been centered. I'll just inspect this and let me use this as 100% width. Now we have the content inside this and the content should be 100%. So let me use width of 100% and it is already 100%. Let me go inside this. We have a div and this div should also show 100%, width of 100%, and now your field is showing 100%. Now what I will do is I'll just mark this mat form field as 100%. So let me use mat form field which is of width 100% and save this. Now let me refresh. Yep. So now it is having a 100% width. I don't want to use this smile, and I want to change all the placeholder along with the paddings. So now this to-do list project is something like an heading. So let me copy this heading and let me go inside this. You have a header, and inside this you have a mat card title. So for this mat card title, what I'll do is I'll use something like display flex justify content center. So we are not able to do that because we should have a div on top of it. So I can use on the mat header something like display flex justify content center. So now it is in center, and I want to use a padding bottom of 20 pixel and also font size as 14 pixel or less than that if you want, or more than that. So we can increase, but as we are using a card header, it already have the default values like font size, so I don't want to change that properties in our HTML. Let me copy this, and it is related to mat card header, and save this. Now let me save this and go here. Now it is perfectly all right. Let me change outline form field. Outline form field is not required now. So what I'll do is I'll just change this to enter your, or let me use describe what to do and save this. This is my placeholder. Now I don't want to use that smile symbol. Instead, I want to use an icon to save that description. So what I'll do is I'll just go here into material icons. Already we are using and imported that material icons in our application. So what I can do is I can just search for some icon. Let me go with save, and inside this save I would like to use this copy. And what to use here? It is very simple. We can use a save word. That means instead of sentiment very satisfied, I can use something like save and save this. And I don't want to provide any hint here. Save this. And also my button is not required in the actions. So let me remove my action. Save this. Now this is what the UI looks like. Once I enter something and clicks on this save button, it should display my content below this as a list format. So let me design our list format. So what I'll do is I'll use a checkbox. Let me go here and use a checkbox, and you can see we have different types of checkboxes over here. Let me go with the examples, and you can see there is something like before, after, tick mark and untick. All this we have. So we can use all the different types of check marks over here. So let me go here and let me open this. You have some set of checkboxes over here. Now I'll go with a small checkbox, copy this, and now inside the content below this I want to show the list of content, and let me save this. Now I want to import the module for this checkbox. Copy this checkbox module, go into your TS and import it. So always make sure you import whatever is required for our HTML content. Let me go here, and now you have a check mark. When the user clicks on this check mark, it has to strike off, and also you will have an edit and delete icons. So let's frame that as well. Now you have this checkbox, and inside this checkbox you have a class. Let me remove this particular class and save this. Now what I'll do, I'll just go here and create a class called as listing, and copy this listing class and write some set of CSS. I'll write something like display flex, and also I want to use justify content as space between, and save this. Now I'll create two divs inside this. One is regarding our checkbox and one more is our actions. So what I can do is I can create two set of actions, and that actions will look like our icons. So let me copy this, paste here, and also paste here, and NBSP, or you can use padding. So let me go here and check. You have all the icons over here, but my icon should be different. So I want to go with an icon called as edit. So how you can use edit is something like pencil symbol. So let me go with edit icon, and then I can go with edit name. So let me go and rename this to edit. And also we have something like delete, and save this. Now go here, you can see delete icon and also edit icon. So these are something like in a sequence, and let me center all of them. So all the listing items should be centered horizontally. So align items center and save this. Now all are in sequential line. Now when I click this, it has to change the UI look, and also whenever I strike off, it should not show edit and delete options. So I don't want to delete. Once it is done, I don't want to delete. If there is some mistake, I want to edit. So that's how the flow continues. Now what I'll do is I'll add some set of logic for us. But before doing that, here we have a container. Now what I'll do is I'll add a padding to this. So let me go to the top and add padding top of 30 pixel and save this. Now this is my UI. So I'm done with my UI. Now what I want to do is I want to get all the list of items. And before doing that, I would like to create a list of data. So what I'll do, it is very simple. Let's just go here and create a list of items. So what I'll do is to do list, which is of signal type and which is of some interface. So let me use an interface, and the interface is to do or I to do, and this to do list will have ID, which is a number, and we will have something like description, which is a string, and there is something like done status, which is like boolean value, whether it is done or not. So I can use either comma or semicolon for this interface. Let me copy this interface and put it over here and close this, is equal to I would like to get my signal from Angular/core, which will have the default value, and that is equal to array symbol, empty array. So I can go with this and save this. Now my signal is ready with me. What I'll do is I'll create a model, and the model, I'm not using a template driven model directly. Instead I'll use signal model. So now what I'll do is I can use something like description, or you can use a message, anything. So this is also a model. So let me use model of a string value. So I want to enter some string value, and let me import this from my core and save this. Now I would like to integrate this description with my HTML as an ng model. So let me go into my input field, and here let me use something like ng model, and the model is a description. Let me save this. Now you are seeing an ng model problem. Ng model, since it is not known property of an input. Why it is not known property of input? Because we are not using a forms module. So whenever we want to use two-way data binding, either we have to use reactive forms or forms module. So in this case, I'm using a modal approach by using a signal, and it is having a dependency on this forms module, which is equivalent to ng model. So let me save this, and now we are good to go. So now we have this describe want to, and I want to rename this placeholder as well. So let me use the same describe to inside the placeholder and save this. Now whenever user tries to type something and clicks on the save button, it has to add into the list. So let me use a click event which helps us to add the value. So let me use a save and copy this and go here. Now I want to create a method which helps us to save the data, and now this will not return any value. So let me add the value to the to-dos list. How I can add into to-dos list? So first thing is we need an object which should look like to do. So let me create const obj and I to do is equal to, I want to get a description, and the description is from our description model, description of, which will give the value. Because it is a signal, we have to call it like a getter function. And also we have something like done, which is by default false because he is creating now. And also we have something like ID, and the ID is something like I want to get the to-dos list count. So to-dos list, it is also a signal. Dot length will give you the length of the list, and then I want to add +1 to it. So first time it will be 0, +1 will be 1. So your ID will be 1. So I am incrementing the previous list count to +1. That will be a new object into our to-do list. If you want to have any custom ID, you can create your custom ID, but make sure it should be very unique. Now I have created this object. I want to push this object into my to-dos list. I can do it very simple. To-do list, which is a signal, I have to call it dot push, and I want to push my object. and save this. Now I am ready with my save option. So let me go here into HTML and then save this. Go here, let me write some set of console.log obj just to understand what it is trying to save in our to-dos list. Let me go here and clear this off. Let me type something testing and hit this. So now you can see there is a description added over here and you are getting an object which we need, and this is the object which is pushed into our to-dos list. So let me go into my to-dos list and then let me loop this to-dos list. How you can loop? As we are using Angular 19 features, I don't want to use ng-for. Instead, I want to use @for. So how I can use this @for? Let me go here, @for and hit enter. So now it has a snippet. This will create a to-dos list and also an item and then a tracker ID. That means the unique ID, item.id. In my case, ID is the unique one and hence I am using ID for our tracking purpose, which helps us to improve our performance. So let me cut this and put it over here. Now let me format this. Instead of showing check me, I want to show the item.description and save this. Now we are having to-do list, but this should be a signal and we have to use a getter function. Save this. Now if there is no list, we have to show something like @empty and this should show a paragraph. Let me write a paragraph and the paragraph is something like no records added and save this. Go here and currently it is showing no records added. So let me use N capital. Now it is showing no records added. Let me make it as centered align. So let me use a div and also here I'll use a class called as, already we have that class. Let me go into my SCSS and this is my container class, or you can write explicitly how you wanna go with. So this would be the better one, or let me create my own. So error container, which is having a display flex and justify content center. Save this and let me copy this, paste here, save this. And inside this, I want to go with a paragraph. As we are using SCSS, we can nest these classes directly. So let me go with a color of red and save this. Now go here, you can see no records added. That's absolutely working. Let me add this data. So let me use testing and then let me hit this. Now you can see testing has been added. Once user saves this, we have to clear the input field. So let me do that. Go here and after adding into our list, I want to remove my description value. So description dot set of empty. As it is a signal based model, I can use set. Instead of assigning the value, I can use set. So let me remove this console as well. Now we are good with saving part. So let me add testing and then save this. Now you can see the value under the list. Now what I want to do is when the user clicks on this checkbox, it should not show this whole editing and delete option. It should only strike off this specific to do value. So let me go here and let me go into HTML. What I'll do is I'll write some set of conditions. Before doing that, I can do something like click is equal to check mark changed, and then let me copy this and also I'll pass the item to this. Let me copy this and go into TS. Let me go here and now use this and it will not return anything. It's a void, and inside this void I want to do some set of logic. So what I can do is whenever user clicks on this, if it is already checked, it has to uncheck. If it is not checked, it has to check. So that's how your check mark changed will work. What I will do is I will try to receive an item and I will update this specific item to do. Now I'll receive this item and I will find this item in my to-do list and I'll replace my content. So how can I do is I can find by using const index is equal to, I can use this dot to do list dot find index, but without doing this I can get the index. So instead of doing this, I will receive an index value from my front end code. So let me remove this, and now inside this, instead of passing an item, I will pass an index. So how I can pass is I can use let I is equal to dollar index. See, dollar index is the one which will give you the index of that specific item. So let me pass that I value over here. Now let me receive this I value inside my TS as an index. Now we got the index. I want to update the index value. So how can I do that? This dot to do list of, you'll get a list of items, and I want to get the index value. Inside that index value, I want to update the done state by toggling that done state. So let me use this dot to do list of, and I'll pass the index dot done, but this should be a negative value of it. So if it is true, it has to become false. If it is false, it has to become true. So let me go here and let me add a testing value. Now let me click this. You can see the testing value. Let me click this. Now the tick mark happened. But whenever this is not in a done state, so let me go here. What I'll do is, we have this set of check mark, but it has to reflect on the UI. So how can I do that? By using some set of classes. So here is the text, and we have to strike off the text whenever there is a tick mark. So what I'll do is, I'll add some set of styles for this. How can I do that? By using ng class. So let me go here into our text and let me use text decoration line through, and this is how it should look. Whenever there is a tick or to-do list has completed, then it has to show a line through. What I'll do, I'll add a ng class, and for this ng class I need to add an expression, and the expression is item.done. If item.done is there, I want to add a CSS class. So let me create my CSS class dot crossover, and then I'll use something like text decoration as line through. Save this. So let me copy this crossover, paste here, save this. Now let me use this way, but we are having some problem with this crossover class. Why it is giving the problem is, you have to go into TS and add the common module and save this. Now we are good to go. Let me go here and add one item, something like testing, and save this. Now click this. You are not able to see the testing as striked off. Let's understand what's the problem. So here we are using a crossover. Let me use as a string and testing. Now click this, still we are not able to see the class. Let me understand what's the problem. When the done state is equal to true, then it has to apply this class. So I'll make sure to use ng class in a different format, something like item.done. If it is done, I want to use crossover, else I want to use nothing. Save this, testing, click this. So let me copy this and go here. Let's see what's happening for our to-do list. So my to-do list has been updated with the index, but this is not the way to update our value. So to-do list dot update, this is a signal. So let me use something like, I'll remove this and then I will add I to do over here, which is an array format, and save this. Now you can use update. Okay, let me save this. Now go here, let me add testing, save this, click this, nothing changed. So let's debug this. So let me go here, and now I got this to-do list, and that to-do list got updated, but that update is not as expected. So what I'll do is, I'll use this dot to-do list dot update, or you can use even set, and I want to set with the current value of my to-do list like this, and save this. Testing. So same problem. Let me pick this and let's see whether the class is applied or not. I have clicked on it and it is check mark. So when there is a check mark, there is a crossover applied, but still the class is not applying on this specific styles. So let me go here. It has applied our ng class. Okay, so I think there is a small spell mistake. Copy this and put it over here. Save this. Now you can see testing. Click this, inspect, and there is nothing applied on the label. Instead, it is applying on the top level here at the crossover. So inside this, if you see this, there is a text decoration, but that is not applied on the label. So we have to apply on the label. So for that sake, what I'll do is, I'll just cut this and I'll use a span tag where I'll use this ng class, and then I'll use this interpolation. Save this. Go here, add testing. Yep. So it worked as expected. So we are adding on the checkbox. That's why it is not applied on the testing part. Now, whenever there is a strike off, it's good to go, but we should not able to edit. Once it is striked off, we should not edit. So for that sake, I'll add some sort of if condition. At the rate if condition, and the if condition is if item dot done, then do not show this. So it should be not condition, and then save this. Go here, now testing, click this check mark, edit gone, and when I untick this, you will get the edit icon. So now we are good with the editing part. Now what I want to do is when the user clicks on delete, we have to take the confirmation from the user and then we have to delete that specific item. Now let me go into our Angular material and we have something called as dialog. So we have dialog to confirm. When I click this, it will open a confirmation and it will ask for the confirmation. In the same way, we can use this dialog to open and write our own content. So let me go with an examples. Here we have something like dialog slow. That means you want to delete this file or not. Same like this we need, but we don't want to delay that. Instead, I want to go with 0 milliseconds. So let me go into the TS, and what I'll do is first I'll add my reference. This is the dialog reference, this is the animation, and we have some sort of dialog animation component. So if you want to have a component explicitly, you can maintain that component, and whenever user clicks on that, you can open that component. In this case, this component is dialog example animation dialog. So this is my dialog, and inside this I am injecting animation example dialog. Here no need to do this much big stuff. Instead we can make it more smaller one. So let me go here into this. Yeah, we have open dialog, and whenever you click on this, it has to open some set of dialog, and that dialog should receive some set of data. In our case, I can hard code because every time the same content will be available. So let me copy this and let me create my own component. So quit this ng generate component, and the component name is confirmation, and hit enter. Now it will create a confirmation component, and it is also a standalone component. So inside this, let me go into the HTML and add in the HTML. Now I want only mat dialog stuff. So let me go into the TS, let me use all the mat dialog components. So here we need a mat dialog module. Let me go into imports, mat dialog, I'm not getting it, let me import it. So now I'll use mat dialog module inside my application. You can see all these are required for it. Let me copy and paste, save this. Now we don't have a button, let me import this. We don't want ref and we don't want dialog here. So let me save this and let me save this as well. Once the user clicks on a specific delete button, it has to show you are deleting this specific value. So you can use something like delete item. Would you like to delete this item? Yes or no? When the user clicks on no, it should not delete. When the user clicks on yes, it has to delete. Let me save this. Now let me go here, and open dialog is something which we need to use. So let me inject our dialog into our app.component.ts. Go into app.component.ts and inject my specific component and import it, then import it from core. Save this. Now to use this mat dialog, we need to have a mat dialog module. Mat dialog module. Save this. Now we have a mat dialog and a mat dialog module. So let me go to the serve, ng serve, go here into the to-do list and let me add them, testing, and then click this. Everything is working. When the user clicks on a delete button, it has to show this confirmation. So let me go here, and when the user clicks on this, so let me add a click event, and inside this click event, we can use something like delete confirmation, and I can send the item. If you want, you can send the complete item to this. Copy this delete confirmation and then go to the app.ts and then add this delete confirmation. It will receive an item which is equivalent to I to do, and then it will not return anything, so void. Inside this I can use this dot dialog dot open, and the open dialog is something like the component value. What the component is? Confirmation component. Now I want to use this confirmation component, hence I want to add it at the modules. Save this. Now confirmation component, I have added it, but let me import it. It has imported already and not used within the template. We are not using it within the template. Yes, we are not using it. So I think we can remove this, save this. And now let me go into HTML, save this. Once the user clicks on delete confirmation, this has to be called and this has to open. And I can give some set of options like width, and the width, let me make it as 250 pixel and save this. Go here, refresh, and let me add testing. Click this, you can see delete item. Would you like to delete this item? So once when I click this and click yes or no, we have to capture the value. How can I do that? By using this dialog ref itself. So dot then or after closed, you will be getting a result over here. And what is that result? Let's understand. Console.log of result, and the result is for now. So let me save this, and there is some problem. Okay, so instead of doing this, we have to subscribe, because after closed is unobservable, so we have to use subscribe, and inside this we can console the result. Let me go here into the console, go here and testing. Let me click this, and when I click on S, you can see there is no value, but you are able to see the console with undefined value because we are not sending the value from component. So let me go here and go into the component.html. This is something like mat dialog close with cdk initial. So we can pass the value as well in our dialog. So let's see how can I pass the data. So let me go into the overview, pick one, and when you type something testing and click OK, you are able to see what he typed and you are able to send the data back. So how can I do that? By using our close event, we can pass the data back to our UI. So what I can do is I'll just use set of references for my model inside my confirmation. So let me go into the confirmation. So inside this TS, I'll add constructor, and this constructor requires this one and my dialog. So I can also use this dialog as confirmation component. Save this. So now I have my dialog ref. So if you see this, they are making a close dialog button, and on clicking on this specific button, it will return back you the value. So let me copy this and click this. So I can use close dialog on my click of this close. So let me remove this mat dialog close. Instead, I'll use a click event. Click is equal to, I'll use close dialog, but this time it will receive a no value, and here I'll use a click event again, but this time it will receive yes, and save this. Now when the user clicks on close, it will receive a message, and the message may be of a type of string, and pass this string value to the close ref. Now when the user closes this message will be passed down to my component. There is some problem. Mat dialog close is not used within the template of the confirmation component. Okay, so let me remove this, which is not required for us. Save this. Now go here and go here. Let me write testing and then click this. When I click on the delete, it will ask the permission or a confirmation. When I click on no, you are getting no. When I click on yes, you are getting yes. So it is received in our app.component.ts. Now we are able to pass our confirmation message from the confirmation component into the app component, where we can do our remaining operation. So the operation is something like, I can remove this specific item from our to-do list. So this dot to-do list of dot splice, I want to remove that specific value. You can remove in two ways. One is based on the index, or by using the item value. So now in this case, I don't want to go with a complicated logic. Instead, I'll go with an index value, which will be easy to remove. So let me use this index value and go here. Let me pass index value, which I want to delete. So now I'll receive this index value. I want to splice with this index value with 1, because the splice works with that specific index value. Let me save this. Now go back, refresh, and let me add testing, hit this, delete, yes, and you have deleted that value. But we have to make sure our response is S. So res is equal to S, and then you can remove this. Otherwise we should not remove any value. So now we have used this splice, and also here we are changing the index value and then we are updating the value. So this is also fine. Let me go here and testing, click on this. You can see the testing. When I click on this, you are not seeing an edit icon, but we have an delete icon. Let me click on delete. When I click on no, it will not delete, but when I click on delete and when I click on S, it will delete. So that's how your delete operation on your to-do list is working. So let me go here. Now there is second way of doing it. There is one more feature, that is nothing but edit. So when the user clicks on edit, it has to pre-populate the value in my field, and when I update it and click on update, it has to update my value. So how can I do that? Let me go here, and for editing we have edit icon. So when the user clicks on edit, click is equal to I want to edit item, and I want to pass an I value. Along with that, I want to pass an item as well. I want to pass both. If you want to pass only one is also fine, but I want to find the index, I want to update that specific item. So let me copy this, go here and edit item. So this edit item will receive the index and item. So I can use both of them or only one, it's up to you. So what I'll do is I'll make sure this item, whatever we have selected, that item is stored somewhere. So let me use selected index colon number, and this is not assigned with any value, and save this. Now I want to update this selected index. Selected index, that is this dot selected index equal to, I want to get the index value, and then I'll pass that index value here, and it is in number format. Save this, and it will not return anything. Save this. So now you have the selected index, and also I want to pass item, which is I to do. Now whenever I click on edit item, it has to update your text field. So I can update my text field by using your description model dot set model dot set of item dot description, and save this. Whenever there is a selected index which is equivalent to 0 or 1 or 2, then my field will be filled automatically with this description value. Let me go here, I'll use something like testing and click on this. When I click this, you have not giving a chance to edit it, but when I click on edit, you can see the testing label is updated over here, but user has to know he is in testing mode or updating mode. So in that case, whenever he is updating something, I should not perform any of these options. So whole this list should be in a disabled state. So let me go here. How I can find that is, if my selected index is less than 0 or null or not defined at all, then I am in the creation mode. But if there is a selected index, then it is in the edit mode. So let me copy this and go here. I'll write some set of condition on top of this. I'll create one div, and this div is responsible to show the message which we are editing. At the rate if of, I have a selected index. If the selected index is greater than or equal to 0, then I have to show it is in updated state. So let me make sure like a paragraph showing that in update mode. Save this, and let me use or remove this div. Save this. Now we have this error message. Let me copy this and put it over here. Let me go here, use testing, click on this. When I click on edit, you can see there is no records found, but we have to change the name like editing mode. Save, and now testing, click this, you can click on edit, you can see editing mode. So now we are in the editing mode. When there is an editing mode, I want to change the icon as well. So what should be the icon? It should be something like edit, but it should be save as. So I want to use save as. Let me go into my save. Here what I'll do is I can write two conditions. One is at the rate if of selected index, if it is greater than or equal to 0, it has to show my icon, that is save as, which is in editing mode. Copy and save underscore as, else at the rate else, it should show this mat icon. Save this. Go here and it is save underscore as. Let me go here and testing and then edit. You can see editing mode, and this icon has been updated. Now when there is an update on this icon, I don't want to perform any of the action on this listing. So what I'll do is I'll add some set of ng class, and that class will help us to make sure we are not able to edit it. How we can do that is by using our CSS cursor pointers. So let me go here, and when the user is in the listing mode, I don't want to edit this, right? So in that case, I can stop all these disable conditions. So let me use something like disabled. It should be disabled state or read only state I can use, but let me go into checkbox API. You can see all the properties over here: area, controls, area, disabled area, labeled by, all these values you have. Let me go with disabled. So let me copy this disabled, and this disabled will receive some set of value, and the disabled value is, when it should disable is selected index. If my selected index is less than 0, then it has to disable. So let me go here and go to to-dos, testing, click this. When I click on this, edit, it is in editing mode and I'm able to click this. I should not be able to click that. So what's the problem? Let's see. Selected index is less than 0, or it should be greater than or equal to 0, then it should be disabled state. So let me use testing, click this and edit this. You can see it is in disabled state. In the same way, I want to perform this disabled state for my edit and also for my delete. So this is on the icons. So icons, we cannot disable that. So what I can do is I can just remove that with some set of if condition. At the rate if of, if my selected index is greater than or equal to 0, then show this. It's not the case. It should be less than 0. When there is no selected index, then show this. Let me go here and testing, hit this. You can see you are not able to see any value because we are seeing selected index is less than 0 because it is undefined. So what I'll do is I'll give the default value as -1 because index will never be less than 0, -1, and I'll remove this, not save this. Now you can see testing, click this, you can see an edit. When I click on edit, you are not able to see the delete and edit icons, and you can update these values, and here there is no specific chances of doing any of the action. There is no chance to do any of the action on the list items. And when there is in edit mode, you have to give a clear message like you are in editing mode, you cannot do any operations. Save this. So let me, or actions on the existing list, save this. Now go here, testing, and then hit this, edit. So you can mention that you are in editing mode, you cannot do any action on the existing list. That's why we are not doing any action. Once I update this action, I have to update my list. So what I can do is I can just go here, instead of using save, we can use update. Copy this update, go to your TS, write the update item logic, which is something like item. And now what I will do is, if I have selected this dot selected index which is greater than or equal to 0, then you have to update the value. So then what I can do, I can just go with this dot to do's list. I'll get the value. I'll update this index value dot description is equal to, I can go with selected index, this dot selected index, and then I can update that value with my model description value, and I should reset my description value as well. So let me go and reset that. This dot description value is equal to or set to empty, and then this dot selected index should be equal to -1. Save this. Now when I click on an update, this should happen. So let me go here and I'll add testing, click this, and I'll add edit, and then I'll add testing updated and hit on this. You can see testing updated. And let me add more. 1, click this, 2, click this, 3, click this. So I have added this many items. When I want to edit one, I can make like 1, 2, 3 and click on this. It got saved. And also when I click on 3 delete, yes, it has deleted. 1, 2, 3 delete, it has deleted. It is doing all the set of operations, all the CRUD operations on this to-do list project. So let me summarize what we did. So first thing is we have created the UI for our whole application, and then we have created some set of create logic, and then we have started with updating logic, and also we started with delete logic. All the CRUD operations has been performed with all the if condition and else condition, and whatever the features we are using in this are completely new in Angular, which came after Angular 16, 17, 18. So all these features we have used. So we are not using any structural directives. Instead, we are using @decorators for our template driven values. So this is how we can implement our to-do list. Now, I want to push this application into a GitHub repository. How can I do that? Let me go into GitHub. Here is my GitHub. So let me create a new one that is nothing but to-do list, and then let me create this repository. So now I have created this repository. When I create this repository, I have to follow some set of guidance which is given over here. So first I can use an existing project, right? So for that sake, let me add that into my remote. So before doing that, I can go here, quit this, git init, so initializing the git repository, and then I want to change my remote values. So git remote add origin. So you should not follow this URL. You have to follow your own URL, whatever you are creating in your repository. So let me add this branch. So I can use something like the same values main branch. If you want to use a main branch, you can use the main branch, and then let me use git add dot. I want to add all the files, and let me use git branch -m main, hit enter, and then you can push these values by using this command. It is very simple. Your GitHub itself will give all the values to you. Hit enter, and already I have my credentials in my system, and that's why whole data has been pushed directly. So let me check this and refresh. So I don't see any push because we didn't give the commit. Git commit -m indicates the message. So complete to do application in Angular 19, and then all were added. Let me push now. So I have pushed all the values into my Git repository. It is very simple. You have to clone or you have to use this set of values to push into your Git repository. You have to create a repository and then follow these steps for command line. We have to add the remote, we have to commit the values, and we have to add all the files into the repository. Then you can push this into your origin. Let me refresh this. And now whole application were available over here. Now what you can do is, it is very simple. Once you check this repository, you can go here, just copy this and then clone into your system, go into the project, give npm install, and then you can use ngserve. It automatically runs whole application and you can test over there. So that's how your to-do list will work out in our application. And to enhance this, you can use session storage, local storage to store all the values, and also you can use some set of backend for storing specific to the user by using registration, login. All this you can enhance on this to-do list project. So that's about your to-do list project, and hope this gave a complete clear understanding on the basics of Angular 19 features and also all about your Angular components. If you have any ideas on any of the project which you want to learn, please mention in the comment section. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.